Well, folks, here we are again for the weekly forecast. Unfortunately, due to the university shutdown for the holiday break, we're not going to be doing a forecast for next week, but we'll kind of be looking at things in the future that we might expect based on sea surface temperatures. But before we get to that, what we would like to discuss briefly is that within the models there is a big storm moving into the western United States this week, and it's going to bring significant moisture to much of California and points to the north, with up towards 10 inches over the next 5-day period. Eventually that system is going to start rolling eastward, and right now the models are up in the air about the exact placement of that system. The latest model runs are drifting a little bit farther northward, but keeping the heaviest of the precipitation across Kansas and points to the south. Most of the precipitation in the form of snow would be on the back side of this low, and right now it looks like it would primarily impact the eastern half of Nebraska, and right now it doesn't look like significant snow, but any northward drift of this system could potentially bring some very inclement weather to the central part of the United States. So I would keep abreast on the weather as we get into the early part of next week as the system comes closer into our region. More importantly, when we talk about the storm activity in the western United States, it's kind of tied somewhat to a very aggressive troughing pattern that's being able to lift some moisture up from the Pacific Ocean. And with this El Nino event basically ongoing right now, it looks like that warm temperatures will continue to fuel some of these systems, at least into the near term. So I want to show you the sea surface temperatures, and what you will notice is there's this area right here along the equatorial Pacific, and these orange indicate above normal sea surface temperatures. This is your El Nino signature, and underneath this water in the central Pacific, about 300 meters down, there's a big pocket of warm water that's feeding eastward and reinforcing this warm water in the eastern Pacific. Now up in the north, we're starting to see this cold water starting to build into the Gulf of Alaska, and that's been kind of tempering that ridge that dominated our weather last year across the western United States and brought the continuous cold air into our region. So this is not funneling as much warm water into this region, so we don't expect this El Nino to get much stronger, but it's going to continue to give evaporative moisture into the southern third of the northern hemisphere, and that will enhance systems coming into the western United States and bring up significant moisture. So when we look at CPC's forecast for the month of December, we notice it's below normal temperatures, above normal to the west and above normal to the east, but more importantly, we also see the classic El Nino signal with above normal moisture across the southern one-third of the United States, and some of that lifting up as these storms progress through the southern flow, they'll lift up to the eastern United States, and that's the reason why we would expect to see more coastal storms and above normal precipitation. More importantly, as we get into the winter period, primarily December through February, we see this above normal or below normal temperature signal, classic El Nino signal, and in terms of precipitation, we do see a continuation of the above normal precipitation with below normal in the eastern Corn Belt. More importantly, as we get through the winter, this actually shifts northward. So this is a classic El Nino signal. We'll see whether or not it verifies, but if this does verify, we would expect to see more heavier precipitation events as we go through the winter months.